Hi, it's John Madden. Right now sitting outside of Victoria, Mexico, near the Los Troncones Mountains, and you can see them over there. It's actually the Los Troncones section of the Sierra Madre Oriental mountain chain that runs north to south through pretty much all the length of Mexico. And I'm responding to the National Public Radio 1A show yesterday, the 13th, about politeness. I guess today is the 13th. I think it was the 12th. I'll check. Well, I'll put a note about politeness and manners. And one of the callers said in the South it's very different, and it is for good and ill. I think a northerner, a Chicagoan, we're gritty, and I don't think overall rude. I think we're relatively nice compared with Easterners, but straight talking, no fluff. And in the South, there's a lot of fluff. And when I first moved to Asheville, North Carolina, which is a bubble, it's not classic South by any means. It's quite a mix of cultures. But it's got the Southern. It sits in the Bible Belt, and there's a lot of Southern influence. And I liked how much slower it was, how much more people valued relationship versus just getting to the chase around business. When I went to Asheville, I retired from professional work and did all frontline customer service. So I did a whole lot of retail, including being a cashier in a grocery store and a cashier in a hotel gift shop. And I was in this very fine hotel in Asheville, not one of the most expensive, but a really nice hotel. And there was a wedding there that weekend, which was all people from Florida and New York. And about the 6th or 7th person who came into the gift shop and just told me what they wanted without ever making eye contact or greeting me, I lectured them. I said, ma'am, you're in the South. You're expected to greet me first. I am a person, all right? Not just a function. So that felt good. Relationship first. I lived in the country and had a good old boy. And he taught me that good old boy was a good meaning. It did not mean a redneck. It meant somebody you could trust. So this mechanic is a good old boy. Go to him. And he was a good old boy, Ray. And we liked each other, and we had a lot of talks on my front porch. Maybe my 3rd or 4th month there, I was going to be late on my rent. And I said it right up front. He shows up, and I said, Ray, I just need to let you know I'm going to be late on my rent. Probably 3 or 4 days. And he really was thrown off by that. And when I thought it afterwards, I thought, he did not want me to bring that up first. He wanted us to do relationship first. So a couple months later, I was going to be late on the rent again, and he showed up, and we were chatting on my porch. And I talked about everything. When it was clear he was getting ready to go, I said, Ray, by the way, I'm going to be late probably 3 days on the rent. And he says, great, no problem, thanks. That was the way to do it with him. But stuff gets lost. And I ended up reclaiming pride in my northerner status over 2 things. One is the tendency to not talk straight. The classic is bless her heart, which means that bitch. Later on, let's talk about how much we hate her. That's classic. And the other is the loss of cut to the chase assertiveness when it's necessary, when you don't have time to do a lot of relationship, and when something's important to you. I dropped off a prescription for my dog for some meds that were important to her early in the day, like they were just opening at 8 o'clock. And I was late for work, so I had to just do business. And I dropped it at the front desk, and I said, I'd like to pick this up at the end of the day. And she said, well, we'll see. And I said, you have all day. I want it at the end of the day. Boom. And she really clearly decided I was a fucking northerner. And when I wrote that story up, the title was, Yes, I am, in fact, a fucking northerner, and proud of it. I didn't say the I'm proud of it, but I am proud of it. So it's a balance. It's a dialectic. My favorite people in terms of politeness are Appalachian folks. I spent the whole first year of the COVID running the back roads of Appalachia, having left Asheville. And we had, us city progressives had all kinds of fantasies about the rednecks out in the mountains just because they supported Trump. But that was because they had Fox News, they had no broadband. And I found that Appalachian folks would plant their feet, look you right in the eye. A lot of them were lonely. They were on farms and stuff. And they weren't in a hurry. They were not in a hurry. And they would, they liked engaging. They liked it. And they knew I was they knew I was a progressive and a Democrat. They knew that. They could spot it. They could feel it on me. But as long as I took them as they were, they would take me as I was. And after being out there a few months, I went back to Asheville and had lunch with a very special friend of mine for many years. And 45 minutes into the lunch, she started looking at her watch. I thought, wow, it's the first time we've seen each other in months, and we used to get together a lot. And so I said, do you have to be somewhere? And she said, well, I kind of figured 50 minutes. She's a therapist. I guess she was giving me a 50-minute session. Yeah, I was aiming for 50 minutes, and I thought, wow, I'll take my Appalachian folks over this. Yeah. And I don't know where this fits in with politeness, but the thing I've diagnosed in so many different parts of the country is what I call headphone detachment disorder. Folks you encounter on the beach, even on the beach, but in wonderful parks with headphones or earbuds, which is worse because it's stealth. You don't realize till you get there that they're not present. They are not present. They are not going to show up. They can't hear you. They won't hear you if you greet them, and they don't make eye contact. They're in their own little world, which I think is a serious malady because theoretically they could be with nature, but they're with their podcast or their news or their songs. They are not present. I think that's a serious loss. I think showing up and being present is about as fundamental a human skill as there is. And I would tease. Sometimes I would just pretend they were listening. I'd say, hi, great. Hey, I noticed you're doing an awesome job of not letting any of this beautiful nature touch you. Good work. And they didn't hear what I was saying, so they just smile. Yeah, hi. Or the other one I said was, don't take your headphones off because it's really quiet out here. It'll probably be terrifying to you. And, oh, good. Hi, how you doing? Headphone detachment disorder. I think it's maybe not a psychiatric condition, but I think it's a really toxic condition, and it's everywhere. Okay, thanks.